who's our South African, but she's living in Montreal, Canada. And I'm not supposed to be your host, so I hope our host is back. Oh goodness, she network. Our host today is Loretta Chile. She is Nigerian living in Lagos. I'm also Nigerian living in Lagos as well. I know that today we have people all over Africa. We have people from Kenya, Rwanda, South Africa. I think there are people from Burkina Faso. I saw the registration stats not too long ago, and I know that people from Burkina Faso, Zimbabwe, Liberia, and Libya. So, and yes, Ghana, of course, our sister country. Ghana, Ghana is also here. So wherever you are, whatever time it is, thank you. We really are grateful. It doesn't matter how brilliant our idea is. If there's like nobody in this room today, nobody's going to hear about it. So thank you from wherever you are. Just sit back, have a cup of coffee while we listen to these two brilliant women talk. Hello, Joy. Joy is showing her sister friend. I'm not quite sure. Well, hi, Joy. Hello, everyone. Hello, Rose. Hello, Yvonne. Thank you again. So we're just going to be going on to the first speaker. Loretta, over to you. We have a couple of questions, and then we're also going to be taking questions from the feedback form we had sent. We know that some people had some really important questions. So if there are questions from there, we're going to read that as well. Loretta, over to you. I'm going to turn off my camera now. See you guys at the end. That's at least when you see my face next. Thank you. Bye, Loretta.
Hi. Thank you, Miriam, for saving me and Nigerian network. Okay, so I'll get to our first speaker. Teresa, I hope I got it right. Mambo, right? I hope I'm getting it right. The greeting. I got it right?
Jambo.
All right, okay. So
Yeah.
Yambo. Okay. All right, that's great. Okay, so our first question for you would be how did you transition from finance to AI? I knew I was reading and I got that you're an AI trainer and you're also in finance, and the mission is actually just making sure that our business challenges are limited, looking for creating solutions for business challenges, especially in Africa. So so how did you transition from finance to AI? What sparked your interest?
Okay. Thank you for having me. I'm so happy. So I would say curiosity brought me here. I hope I'm audible.
Yes, you are.
Okay. So I would say curiosity brought me here. So I was following a tech influencer on social media. They talked about growth opportunities in tech. So they would emphasize how the world was shifting to tech and digital and AI. So I was just curious, what is AI? What do we do in AI? What are the opportunities in AI? So I went to YouTube, I went to Google, and then coincidentally, I came across an advert at Invisible Technologies, and they were advertising for an AI trainer entry-level role. So I gave it a shot. We did the interview. It was something else, but it was so manageable. I was onboarded, and the rest is history. I'm so glad to be here.
That's awesome. That's awesome to actually hear. And because usually transitioning from one thing to another, especially if it's just quite different, finance and AI is just quite different. It seems like it's going to be like most times like a little bit of a hustle. Sometimes you don't just even want to go on. Sometimes you're looking for the motivation to actually even just let's do this, right? But it's good that you have gone through the journey and you're here to also tell us about your story too, and also to inspire others. So next question for you is, what exactly does an AI trainer do? Because we have people that are AI enthusiasts, people that are just beginning, people that just want to even understand, okay, what can I do with AI? What are the roles there available? So what does an AI trainer do? And how does that work influence the final output of tools like ChatGPT? Generative AI everybody uses every day. So I'd love to know that.
So what does an AI trainer do? What I would say, AI training and just AI is not only for coding. There are so many roles in AI. So as an AI trainer, what I mostly do, first of all, it's reviewing and rating the model. So we train the model by evaluating responses that the AI model has presented. So we evaluate the responses based on accuracy, based on the tone, based on the safety, because sometimes AI will generate a response that is not polite or things that are not safe, because we have to train the AI to tell you that even if you get a prompt telling you to do something, there are things that you shouldn't do. I wouldn't talk about what we train it not to do, but of course, we ensure the safety. Another thing that AI trainer does is writing samples. So you write samples to the AI to train it, to show it that this is a good response. A good response should look like this. For example, a user wants to get an email. So I'll tell GPT that you have to follow this format for an email. You have to start with the subject. You have to write, who are you sending the email to? So you have to train it that just generating a message is not correct. A good response will follow these steps. And then I'll also give it feedbacks on confusing and biased data. So to ensure that the next time it doesn't generate information or a response that might be confusing. And also I help AI reason step by step. Like I'm in the finance field, so maybe users in the finance will be generating prompts like, help me prepare a balance sheet. So in finance, balance sheet has steps how to prepare a balance sheet. There are assets, there are non-current assets, there are fixed assets. So I'll ensure that GPT knows the first thing I need to do is arrange my assets. And I don't just arrange assets, I group assets according to, is this a fixed asset? Is this a current asset? So I'll just show it step by step, the steps I need to undergo to come up with a solution. And also we correct the AI mistakes, like a math questions. We ensure that if a user generates a math questions, there are some errors that will not be on the answer or on the final solution. So how does my training influence the responses and the outcome? First thing is the tone. I have to teach GPT to come up with solutions that have a good tone. I mean, responses that are polite, responses that are presentable or formal. Sometimes a user will generate a prompt telling telling AI. It can be Gemini, it can be GPT, it can be so many things. So a user can say, please generate a response or generate an email, and make sure you're polite, make sure you are formal. I can also generate a prompt telling AI, generate a response, but be informal, be casual, let it be a friendly talk. So it's the tone, it's how are you presenting it. Also, if another influence is step-by-step model. Is my answer grouped in step by step? I mean, don't just come up with the answer, just show me the step, just show me that step one, what I needed to do was get the current assets, then get the net assets, then get the profit or loss. So yeah, that's something I would say.
That's like a whole lot. I'm sure your job is actually very cool, because I felt like you just took us through like a whole course on how to be an AI trainer, which is really nice. So wow, that's enough for everyone on this call that is looking into a career in AI. I think you should consider this. This seems very cool too. Also, okay. So my next question for you is yes, what advice would you have to young people, young Africans, young African women looking to enter the AI space from a non-traditional background? Like they have no idea about what it entails and they're coming in. What would you advise them, knowing that you have been there and you're still there and you're still going on?
Okay. So what I would advise them, start where you are. You don't need to have a background in AI. Like my case, as I explained, I had a background in finance. So you use what you have. I have a background in finance. You can learn AI in financial modeling and apply that. You can do a short online course. These courses are from maybe ALX. ALX, I would so much advise. ALX is such a good forum where you can learn, because I saw they have courses like AI Essential, AI Starter Pack. You can go on Coursera and also learn something to do with AI. If you don't have a background, just come with your passion. You're passionate about AI. Wow. So just come. Like myself, I started with the entry level. I didn't have anything to do with AI, but just look for companies that are hiring entry level where no tech degree is required. Apply, make an application. You will learn on the process. But the best I would advise, just do an online course. It can be free, it can be paid, but the ones that I've said, they are free. LX is free, Coursera is free, and even you get a certificate. Also do internships. Now, if you have a background in marketing, learn about how AI is used in content creation, then do an internship, offer your services. Then also share what you've learned on LinkedIn. Honestly, recruiters even might reach out because you'll post, wow, so I learned how to generate prompts, I learned how to do this. Just share what you've learned. Also join communities. Communities like Women in AI, they help, they do mentorship, they hold your hand. Women in AI also, there are Zindi, there are so many communities that you could join. Global AI, Black in AI. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So that was like a whole lot.
I hope
That
I'm
was
not
awesome.
taking so much time, because I don't know how much time we should be taking to answer a question.
But we're learning. We're learning. I'm sure everybody on this call is
Oh,
very grateful for all that the knowledge you're spilling out right now, which is great. And I like what you said. Start from where you are. You don't have to wait. Just start from where you are, and you know, continue from there. So, how do you see AI reshaping finance in Africa in the next 5 years? We know there are solutions, there are problems we have in our financial system, and it's generic. It's not just even in one part of Africa. It's almost like we are experiencing the same thing. So, what do you think? Like, how do you see AI reshaping finance in Africa in the next 5 years?
okay. So I would say maybe in the next 5 years, I think the finance field will be so smarter and financial services will be more inclusive. When you introduce AI, like right now, there are so many people, maybe in the rural areas, they cannot even get banking facilities because maybe they don't even have a bank. They cannot get loans because the bank has no record of their money expenditure, so they can't have a loan. But if we integrate AI in the next 5 years, I believe that even farmers, I know farmers have banks, but let's just say there's this farmer that doesn't have a bank, but they want a huge sum of loan from even maybe a bank. But now if AI is initiated here, we will find that we can track them money expenditure, their mobile expenditure. I mean, their money expenditure in their mobile phones. So the bank will have this opportunity to see how much does this guy handle. So is he able to qualify for a loan of 5 million? Is he able to pay it? And how is able to pay it? Also, we can use AI in weather forecasting. So we use AI to see that maybe in the next 2 months, there'll be rain. So this guy will have produce and he will be having money. So paying the loan will not be a problem. And that helps us know that they qualify for this loan. And yet they don't have a bank. They're not even recognized maybe in a bank. Like the AI now is helping the financial institutions in credit scoring.
Yeah. Right. Okay, that's really wonderful to hear. So that would bring me to my next question, right? What's that one financial challenge you believe AI could solve for small African businesses? We are niching it down to the African businesses. It's not the Western thing. In Africa, we have problems, business problems, right? So what do you think AI can do? What's that one challenge that you feel like AI could, solve for us?
So I think maybe small businesses in Africa, they could be having problems like record keeping, because maybe they've not yet initiated the AIs to help them for record keeping. So if they have a problem in record keeping, even making decisions is a problem. So how can this problem be solved by AI? So we'll introduce AI to this small African business. We'll just advise them that you can initiate this AI tool in your business. It could help you track your sales. Then it could help you track your profits. Then it could help you track your inventory. Like a WhatsApp channel for your business, it could help you. Maybe every sale you make a day, it's recorded. So after the end of every month, I realized that, wow, so I made sales worth this much amount. Taxing is even easier. Inventory keeping is even easier. I'll make decision easily because I know what is the demand. Sometimes we've even sold and our clients want more. So it will even help the businesses stock more, increase the inventories.
Oh, that's great. Okay, so because we don't have so much time, I'll skip some of the questions that somehow I feel like you already answered, like the part where you talked about platforms and tools and courses. I know you talked about ALX courses and Coursera free courses. So I'm going to just skip a bit to the part where I asked, because this is like a very big question in the AI field, right? So what are some ethical concerns? There are ethical concerns here. Concerns you think finance and AI professionals should watch out for. Yeah, I know that there are ethical concerns in the AI field because there are so many products coming out, even things that feel so real. Like I know that I saw a video from that was created from the new tool Google just created. And I saw that video and I was blown because I couldn't tell that it was not real. Like it looked so real. And then I know that AI tools are evolving, getting better. Like there are more tools coming out and things are getting better. So I'm going to ask, what are some ethical concerns you think finance and AI professionals should watch out for?
Okay, so I think one could be data privacy. So when we are initiating AI in finance, we should ensure that the AI systems protect the data of a client. We should ensure that some data, you also enlighten who is using this AI, enlighten them that we are collecting data based on your expenditure, based on your mobile money transactions, so that the client is aware, this person using this AI is aware that we are using this data and we are using it for this reason. So that is data privacy. We don't just use your data, and you're not aware. So we make you aware that, so we will be tracking your mobile expenditure, mobile money expenditure. We'll be using it for this reason. And yeah, another thing is maybe lending and credit scoring. So sometimes it's the data that you fill the AI that will determine, will I lend to this person or not? So if I only use data for Kenyans in Nairobi, and you use this system to issue loans, someone in the rural will apply for a loan and they will not get it. Why? Because we did not fill the data for someone in the rural. We only used data for people in Nairobi. So there could be bias in lending and credit scoring. So we should ensure that the data that we fill as finance analysts or as finance professionals, that the data we use to fill in the AI systems cover everyone, cover every field, cover every place or location to avoid the biasness.
That's good to know. That's good to know the solution to that. Okay, so my next question would be, what is one myth about AI? This is quite interesting. What is one myth about AI you wish more people, especially women, understood better? There are lots. there are lots of people saying different things.
Yeah,
People
yeah.
saying that AI is going to take over the world. That are lots,
I
right?
know.
So what is that one myth about AI you wish people could have more understanding, especially African women could have more understanding about?
So, like I started, I said, one thing that I would really wish that everyone understood, even maybe people that joined this call, I know there's someone, maybe they don't even, maybe they've had AI for the first time, but then they will just be hearing outside that AI is only for coding, AI is only for tech experts, AI is only for tech gurus. That's a lie. AI has so many roles. AI and tech is so wide. There's AI trainer, there's data labeler, you can translate, you can evaluate languages, even in your local languages. I mean, this field has so many roles, and you don't just have to be a tech expert to enter here, to go here. But one thing I've also come to learn, when you enter the AI field, you'll just be curious to learn more. Of course, sometimes we end up now in the tech field, like maybe in the next even few years, I dream to study about programming. Yeah, that's true. But just one thing that women and people should know: AI is not for coders. AI is not only for tech experts. You can come in and you're a marketer, and there are so many opportunities. And another one I would say, it's AI is not coming to take our jobs. It is just helping us be more efficient. So we should just be adaptable to it. It's just helping us even maybe divide our work so that we are not so tired. So it is to help us be more efficient.
So I hope everybody's hearing. It's not here to take our jobs. It's here to help us to be more efficient, and that's good. That's everything. If I could take anything away from this, is that start from where you are. Start from where you are. There's so much in you. It's just a tool to help you to be more efficient, as Teresa said, and also to do more and be better, and bring your ideas to life. And that is so great. So thank you. Thank you so much, Teresa. Okay, the last question. Last question. Last question would be, what are your personal goals in combining finance and AI? I mean, you're already doing it, but I'm sure that it's something you're going to like advance, right? And then
Yeah.
how can the community support? How can the community support?
Mhm. So one goal is to make finance more accessible, transparent, and inclusive through AI. What support? Support is the communities, just that I would join communities that would help me, because what I've realized that these communities are, you'll get mentors there. These communities will help us learn even more about or upcoming something about AI. These communities will hold our hands. These communities will even post opportunities that we can exploit, will post courses that we can do to advance ourselves.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Asante, I hope I got that. I'm trying to learn a little bit of Kenya. Thank you so much. This was really insightful. And please, if you have your questions, you can please put it at the chat box so that we can have that. So if you have any question, I'm going to the chat box now to check if we have any questions at all. Please drop it so she can answer. And thank you so much for this. This was really insightful. And this was really insightful. Do we have any questions?
Hi, Teresa.
Over.
Thank you. Thank you for answering those questions so lovely. Also, I think my question would be for people who are illiterates, right? The unbanked who do not have proper formal education and looking forward to how to incorporate AI to things such as how they handle their finances or their logistics. Do you think that the only solution would be in outsourcing help? Or do you think there's something else we could do? And yes, Louisia, you can ask your questions in the chat box, or you could unmute your mic. Whatever works for you is fine. But yeah, Teresa, that's my question. How can we really reach the people who are not formally educated or
Okay.
not really exposed and help them use that?
So AI has so many innovations. Like one thing, we as finance specialists in AI or just any field in AI, we could come up with a chatbot that speaks our language, our local language, and teach this chatbot to help this grandpa understand. I mean, formulate a course. I just maybe a 1 hour audio to this grandparent who doesn't understand English. So I will teach this robot. I mean, it's not really like a robot that is going, but like an AI. And then, of course, they have mobile phones. So I'll teach it. Just speak to this person, educate them on banking, educate them on credit, getting money on credit platforms, educate them in your local language. So we don't even need to outsource for help, like you take a grandchild to come and help this person. No, we can help these people. We can form AIs in our local language to help those that don't understand English or don't understand Kiswahili. Yeah, so AI still will be of help to them.
Okay then. Thank you so much for
That's good.
answering that.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So, Louisa, can you can unmute your mic and ask, or okay. So she's asking, I would like to ask for the names of online courses you would recommend for a beginner. Beginner in the field. As a student, what would you say the next steps for me would be? Yeah. After taking these courses. So she wants to know the courses and the online platforms, and then as a beginner, what would be her next step?
Okay, so the first platform that she would check is ALX. I'll first mention the courses, then I'll tell her the courses that she would undertake. So there is ALX, there's Coursera, and there's a platform that is called CrowdGen. CrowdGen is a good one because it employs Kenyans, but also you can you can sign in and create a profile. I saw that, I think yesterday, or I don't know, 2 weeks ago. You will sign up, and then there are courses for AI beginners. It's called CrowdGen. Okay, so what courses should she undertake? AI for beginners. ALX has courses like AI for beginners, AI starter pack. What else? Coursera has a beginner course for AI. It's also called AI for beginners. Okay, but also I think I would paste a message compiling the courses and the platforms, right? That would be helpful.
Yes, please, if you can. Thank
Yeah.
you. We are putting together a resource kit for everyone who is not already working AI but wants to get started. So yes, we'd appreciate the assist as well in that regard. Thank you.
So should I paste a message, or I'll send to your email or something like
that? Well, I think you can send to my mail.
Okay.
But then also, just if you can as well, you can just paste in the message just in case. Lucia needs it more urgent.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Arisa. Do you have any more questions? So we don't even have so much time. We have to go to the next speaker. But thank you so much, Arisa. Thank you so much. This was really eye-opening. I learned a lot. I'm sure so many people on this call also learned a lot. So can we just give her, send her love with the emojis and everything? Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, because we do not have so much time anymore, I'm going to my next speaker, all the way from South Africa. All the way from South Africa. Okay. Okay. All the way from South Africa, Sefela. I'm trying to get the name. I hope I did not murder it. Can you hear me?
Sorry. Yes, I can. Am I Seche?
Oh. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for being here. Okay, so I'm trying to also learn a little bit of Kenya and South Africa. So if I get it right, okay. If I don't get it right, that's fine. So Sobwana, did I get it right?
Say it again.
As hello, Sobwana. Sobwana.
Oh, Sabona. Yeah.
Oh wow, that was super. At least I've learned something today. ChatGPT helped me, by the way. I've learned something today. So thank you very much. So Sefela works and sits an intersection of research, activism, and technical rigor. So we're going to learn a lot from you today. But apart from what we know about you, what is that one fun fact about you that you like want everybody to know? That one fun fact about you.
Fun fact. Oh, I speak 5 languages. Look at that.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
If I didn't ask, I would have known. Wow. So how many like English? Yes. Then which one again?
Yeah, the more Southern African languages. Yeah, I am not learning French or anything non-African, and I'm trying to learn Swahili as well. So.
Oh. That's nice. That's nice. That's so beautiful to know. Okay, so because you don't have so much time, I would love to really chit chat and get to know more. But we're going straight to the questions. So our first question for you today is: what inspired your journey into responsible AI and social impact focused research?
Well, first of all, thank you so much for inviting me. Um, I yeah, I'm really happy to be here. Um, what inspired my journey into responsible AI? Well, it has to be the fact that I wanted to use AI for my own community. And I just wanted nothing less but things that actually work and they don't harm us. Because I was going to use it, like, I was trying to use AI or build AI systems that can work for my family, my community. So it had to work. That's why I'm very strict about that.
Okay, well, that's really profound, right? Something that actually works, putting community, putting family together, and that being your biggest fuel. It's That's great. That's awesome. So the next question would be: can you explain what labeling errors are and how they impact AI systems? Now, this is very technical. I mean, we have people that are just, like starting, still want to know their way around it. But I mean, like getting to know about these things also is very, very, very important. So can you explain what labeling errors are and how they impact AI systems, especially in African data sets?
Yeah. Well, just a second. Sorry, I'm coming down with a cold because it's cold here where I am. It's been raining. Okay, so labeling errors, if I can maybe just
Sorry
put it
about
in
that.
layman terms and then run with an analogy. Is it also my internet that's breaking? Oh, okay, cool. Can everyone hear
Yes,
me?
we can. It's our own internet.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that. Yeah, so if I can just start in layman terms, imagine you are teaching a child to speak.
We can hear you. I can hear you. Carry on.
Awesome. Okay. So by labeling errors, it's simply that. Like imagine you're teaching a child to speak and like it's whatever you're teaching that child, right? Like you'll say, I don't know, maybe hello, goodbye, you teach that child whatever you think is right. But imagine someone at school is teaching the child foul language, like maybe the child comes back and they're saying something that is, you were not really aware of. Or like you're like, wait, what is that? Who taught you that? It's that's my job. I'm that person who says, wait, you're not supposed to be saying that. Who taught you that? And what else have they been teaching you? So we think about AI, we think about how it knows so much suddenly, but sometimes it says something that you didn't even know that it was going to say that. So that's essentially that's what my job is. I look at the data sets that were used to train AI models, and I try to find the labeling errors in there. I try to understand the nature of the labeling errors. I try to, and then I try to see if maybe sometimes are they harmful, or are they irrelevant, or are they hiding something else that is bigger. Yeah, and then I study that. So, for example, in the work that I do in South Africa, we all know there was apartheid, and during apartheid, there were like these policies that forced people to live in very specific places. And then wherever they were living, they were segregated by race. So the black people lived there, the white people lived there, the Indians and the coloreds. And then the government was able to say, okay, now I can assign this budget to this race and that budget to that race. And those budgets were used to build hospitals and schools and roads and things like that. So after apartheid ended, the new government decided the neighborhoods that were marginalized, that were given low budget, we're just gonna put them with the neighborhoods that were given high budget, and we're gonna call them one thing. Yeah, and then that's just how it's going to be today. So them calling them one thing or labeling them one thing, was a disadvantage, because now those neighborhoods that were marginalized, we can't track if more hospitals were built for them, more schools were built for them. We don't know anything about that. So imagine having that label, and then training an AI model with that label. I mean, imagine like a neighborhood that has houses that are not that big, no swimming pools, and then suddenly there's houses that are very small, that are very clustered, no trees. It's very confusing to the model. So when we train AI models, they usually fail because of that. Like there's underlying things about the data that it cannot extract patterns from. So because of the labeling. So yeah, so part of what I do is to think about labels like that. Like go back to the communities, ask them, is this how you would label this and that and that? And then they'll tell you yes or no. And then we update the labels and then retrain the models to see if the models get them right. So yeah, in a nutshell, that's the work that I do.
Wow. That's really profound, and that's really very impactful. I mean, it's African data sets. I just brought everything, just brought it down to understanding from how we talked about teaching the AI, and then trying to understand, oh, this is not what I taught you, like this is what you should do, and then infusing it in the South African culture, South African history. I know that that was like a major thing in South Africa, and just using that to to do so much. That's really, really, really very, very impactful. That's great stuff there. That's really good. So it takes us to, I know you talked about it a bit, but it takes us to our next question about the apartheid and how AI actually, I know you're into social activism and justice. So how does it play a part? I know you talked like a bit about it, but then how does it really play? How does AI as a tool? How do you use AI as a tool for social justice?
Yeah, I mean, I mentioned these neighborhoods. Imagine South Africa is such a big country in itself, and there are neighborhoods everywhere. Like people live everywhere in the country. So collecting that data, like, okay, let me also put this into context. Like if you're looking at satellite images of South Africa today, or let's say 10 years ago, there were houses that were not built, some roads that were not built. There were things that were not there. So imagine you are labeling the entire country. You're telling us where houses are, where roads are, where things are in 2010 versus today. So a lot has changed. So every day, every day that a day passes, there's someone who's building a new house, there's someone who's changing the data. So now you have to constantly you have to update that data set, so that it's more up to date, right? So imagine how much money it takes to label all of that, like so that you get a more recent data set. So you're telling us, okay, this neighborhood is of this size. 10 days later, maybe 5 people built houses. So now it looks different. Now you have to accommodate those other houses because you're saying this is a house or it's not built up. And then you're telling a model, this is a house or it's not built up, right? And then if it's actually built up and you said this is not this is that you said if you say this is not built up and then there's a house, then you're teaching the model the wrong thing. It's like you're teaching a child one thing. You're saying this is a cup when you're saying there's no cup when there's actually a cup. So it's already confusing to the model, like just logically it's already going to be confusing the model. So imagine creating that data. That means people have to sit down, look at these satellite images and say that there's a house, there's no house, there's a house, there's no house. And then after 2 years, that data set looks very different and people have to sit down again and say there's a house, there's no house, there's a house, there's no house. And it's not just the person who says there's a house and there's no house. It's maybe 2 people have to say there's a house there, and then another person has to evaluate whether there was, those people are actually labeling the correct thing or not. So it's a big labeling effort. It's a lot of money to do. So what we are doing is we are exploring whether or not we can use AI to help us detect these places that have growth or shrinkage. That's how we would be using AI. That's how we're using AI in our work. We're trying to build models that will help us label the data so that we can therefore say that, okay, there's a new neighborhood here. Are there hospitals? Are there schools? Who lives here? Is it Black people? Is it white people? Is the government discriminating against people? Or we can say, well, there was 50 houses here, and then 2 years later, there is 200,000 houses, but there's still one school. What is going on? Why is the government not tending to the people? And questions like that. So AI is merely, in this case, a tool to help us detect whether or not new neighborhoods have been built or they've not been built, and if they've been built, if there was an existing neighborhood, has it grown or has it not grown? And therefore, we can say things like, okay, this neighborhood has grown by 2 times. Are there resources in that neighborhood that match this growth?
That's a lot. That's a lot of information, and I guess I learned something new. Means that it takes a whole lot to actually get these things working. And wow, I must say, okay, then it takes us to our next question, right? We know that AI tools are being used for this, right? Then AI is playing its part. Then what is the role of community in shaping ethical AI development? Why AI is doing its own thing, making our lives easy, what role and we also play to make sure that AI gets the everything it needs to also serve us, right?
Mm, yeah, I mean the community. Okay, we if we're thinking about AI as a tool, then it should be something that we can use to our advantage, right? So it has to actually work. Um, I was mentioning that if the child keeps coming back with some words that I didn't teach them, then I it's not really helpful for me and the child, in conversing. So that you are the community in this case. Like if the AI tool is coming, like it's working for me, but it's saying things that are irrelevant to me, then it's of no use. So the actually the role of the community in shaping AI is to help with the relevance. So the community should be concerned about the data sets that are used. It should be concerned about the models, how decisions are being made. What happens when the AI does not have enough information about a subject? Like, what kind of decisions are programmed in that system? That's what the community should be really concerned about. Like, we did a project not so long ago where we asked different communities on the continent, well, in the world really, but we were really focused on the African continent. Like we had Nigerian communities, we had South African communities, Kenyan communities, Cameroonians, some North African countries as well. And then we asked them, give us 10 of your most popular dishes, like food in your country. And then they gave us the names, they gave us the recipes, they gave us information about when it's eaten, things like that, where, like in which region this dish comes from. And then we took that information and then we asked AI models to generate pictures of the food. And then after it generated the pictures, we took the pictures back to the communities and we asked them, is this the right representation of this food? And then the communities were saying yes, no to some things. And I think from that project, we just really noticed that the AI did not really know anything about our food. It didn't have enough data. It was not trained on things about our food. And we also realized that a lot of our dishes are not on the internet. So if they're not really speaking to the communities about things that are relevant to them, and collecting data about that to train the models. Therefore, we can't just expect that the models will know things about things that are relevant to those communities. So it's up to those communities who are paying subscriptions for these AI models to be asking these questions. Hey, I am a paying customer and these models are not even serving me. Like, what am I paying for? That's what they should be asking for. Because otherwise, if their data is not also coded into these models, therefore, it just quickly becomes erased, right? Like I mentioned, the data is not in the internet. There's a lot of dishes. I'm from South Africa. There's a lot of dishes that I was also looking for on the internet, and I couldn't even find pictures of them. But everyone in my region knows those food items. And then now we've been moving away from the internet. We're going into this AI system thing, and the data is still not there. So it's up to people in my community to be asking those questions, that why is data about myself that is relevant to myself not in these models. So yeah, that's a very big thing actually, like because it's the same communities that buy these subscriptions that we are like, everyone is building these models for these communities, but data about them is not inside. So I think the role of the communities is to be more curious and understand that they are stakeholders and their voices can be heard because we are building for them. It doesn't make sense, right, if the models don't work for them.
Yeah. I love what you said, that we are building for them, and that is really great. And I got Tani's expression. Yes, you didn't actually know that AI could do that, right? So we might try some Nigerian dishes too and see if it's if we can also get that. And really, there's so much AI is doing, and there's so much AI can do, and our mind is just being blown. And even now, even me being exposed to the fact that AI can do so much. It's a tool that we need to utilize to do even bigger things, and use it for greater impact, which is really so great. So thank you for this. I did not know this. So many people did not know this, but that's awesome, and it's also great work. Thank you. So we don't have so much time, but another question I would like you to talk about or share insights or pick your brain from is, for a young woman just entering AI, how can she start thinking about responsibility as part of her development journey? So let me take that again. For a young woman just entering AI, how can she start thinking about responsibility as part of her development journey?
Can you maybe elaborate on that? I want like
Okay, so
responsibility.
responsibility as part of her development journey. As far as you have like a social responsibility. What you're doing is social activism, and apart from that, you're building for Africans, and you are your mindset is in Africa, right? And this group, anyways, is for African women, and in your different locality. Now you're talking about South African dishes, right? Trying to so we can have an image of how South African dishes look like, or in South Africa. So even as a African woman in whatever country, Kenya, Tanzania, Nigeria, wherever you are, wherever African country you are, what part can you play? Like, how can you use AI to follow your social responsibility as an African in the African space, reading for Africa, thinking about Africa, and thinking about African innovation and how to solve African problems generally?
Hmm. Hmm. That's an interesting question. Hmm. I mean, besides the fact that I mentioned that anyone should be concerned about like what the AI is saying about them. I think it would extend to women as well. I have a yeah. I would say that I think it should extend to women. I sometimes fail to understand the role of women, like specifically outside of them being women, right? Like human, uh, exactly that. But I think for women, Teresa actually put it really, really well when they said people should be concerned about their privacy and about their safety. And we cannot deny the fact that women are usually in vulnerable positions, just in general, in this community. So in that sense, I think the role of women in thinking about technology, I think from a preservation perspective, I think they should be thinking a lot about privacy, about people taking advantage of them in the same way they would with another technology in the world. They should not let their guard down about that. But also, I would feel that maybe we can think a lot more about how we can also enhance our privacy, our security, um, in the midst of this new technology that looks like we could shape into something that actually works for us. Yeah, I think it's always wise. I mean, I I I thought about the problems that we had in our own community, and I'm like, okay, so there's a new technology that's coming out. How can I take advantage of that to solve issues that I am going through with my own community? I think women should also be thinking about it in a similar way. That okay, the world is terrible, or I'm trying to find ways to maybe enhance my liberation in the world, right? Okay, these people are saying women are not allowed to do this and that and that. Okay, so in my own privacy, can I use this AI to help me learn things? Like if people are like, you're a woman, you're not supposed to go and XYZ, you're not allowed to work, you're not allowed to XYZ in your own privacy of your own home on your cell phone. Can I use this technology to help me learn about XYZ, or like, help me get there? People are putting barriers in front of me. Is there a way I should be thinking about this technology to my own advantage? I mean, Teresia mentioned so many tools, for example, about learning. I mean, I'm talking about learning in particular because it's something that I'm experiencing. A lot of women are experiencing. Like they would have women in my community are experiencing that. Like they feel like they have a burden of maybe childcare, or they're awake at odd hours in the night, because maybe, I don't know, they were taking care of their households or their children. So if the child is asleep at 1 in the morning, can I use this technology to help me learn XYZ, because no classroom is operating at this time? So it's around things like that. I would think, like, now that we have these technologies that are no longer time bound, can we think about teaching ourselves new skills, in conjunction with the responsibilities that we have currently in the world, whatever your situation is.
Okay, that's so profound. And I guess what you really meant, like what you're saying to us, what you're saying to so many people right here on this call, is that being a woman does not limit what you can do, what you can build, or the rooms you can be in, what you can learn. Basically, the world has a lot there for you to learn. You just need to apply. So being a woman, gender roles and everything you have to do, and having your ideas and seeing dreams and your ideas actually come to reality, and that's your responsibility in your community, not to let that thing that follows you, that keep on, like, right, and looking for ways, looking for tools using AI, help you also to see that this lives and your dreams actually come true and you're actually solving the problem. the last question, because we didn't have so much time anymore. So I can hand it over to Miriam. She has something to speak to us about. This question for you is, how can funding platforms support equity-driven AI research in the global south?
How can funding
support more equity-driven AI research in the global south?
Yeah, actually, yeah,
Funding platforms support more equity-driven AI research in the global south.
yeah. As you are actually talking about this, we have a summer school that we've been raising funds for quite some time, and honestly, yeah, it was great to hear that you mentioned DeepFunding as funding some of these initiatives that are happening on the continent, because it's so difficult to find funders on the continent for initiatives like these ones that, like, aim to support um like projects that are meant to build our people, right? But honestly, thinking about AI, a lot of if there's like different levels of or like different parts of the AI pipeline. There's the people who do the programming. There's the people who use the models that were built by the programmers, right? And then there's the people who, yeah, I think these are the two categories of the people. Currently, the funding that is required for the people who build the models themselves, it's very limited. And this is where the expensive things are, right? Like, this is where we need a lot more money. We need a lot infrastructure support, and things like that. And I find that the funding there is very limited on the continent, and it could do so much because the people who are programming, they are the ones who are shaping the models in the first place, right? And then there's the funding that's required for the usage, the people who take the models that were built, and then and equally so, a lot of funding is needed there because you could build a tool, but if no one is able to use it, then why did you even invest the money in the first place? So I find that there is a need for both parts, and funding structures on the continent could do quite a lot, right? We have so many issues that we just don't have the capacity and the finances to handle by ourselves. Like I mentioned, data labeling, for example. I said it's a very laborious task. It's very heavy. It requires a lot of money. And not having anyone funding that initiative is why we are in problems that we're in the first place. We don't have different data to support different solutions. So supporting and funding AI initiatives that aim to help with those things, for example, like the people who are using AI to do that, or the people building models to do that, we know the need, we can see the impact. Like, different decisions are made when you know more or when you have different things in front of you. So yeah, there is no question about the need. On the continent, we have so many different problems that we can see opportunities with AI for. But yeah, unfortunately, there's not a lot, but I think they're becoming more and more as people are seeing, the need for it. Yeah, yeah. I think, yeah. If that helps answer the question in a little bit of a winded way. Sometimes I like to show the need and the people can fill in the words for themselves, especially when you lay the context in a different way.
Thank you so much. We have learned a lot. A lot have been learned. I'm so sure everyone is going with something. This has been a very insightful journey. I'll call it an experience. I'll call it a journey because we have learned so much. So if you have any questions, we don't have so much time anymore. If you have any questions, please, you can unmute your mic and ask your questions. If you have any question for her, thank you so much, Stella. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. It's a privilege having you and Teresa here. It was a wholesome experience. So please, if you have any questions, please unmute your mic and ask. Any questions, guys? Okay. Okay, then if you don't have any questions, can we just like celebrate her with an emoji reaction? I mean, this was a very, very beautiful session. We learned a lot. Thank you guys. I can see you. I can see you guys doing so beautifully. So yes, I guess Miriam is going to speak into us about big funding. We did tell you that this is an AI starter, the events about AI starter, how to start if you're a beginner, and also deep tech. We talked about deep tech. We talked about amazing things that AI is doing, and okay, so Philo, you want to say something?
Yeah, I just want to say something. You mentioned that this is an event for women who are interested in AI. I just wanted to say that for myself, I don't know. I the question that you asked about women, I was just thinking a little bit more about it. I just see myself as a person in the world. There's people who would want to limit you with like saying what you're not allowed to do, or it's more their opinion. It's not so much. It honestly is not so much anything to do with you. If someone thinks that you can't do this, it's more their limitation. I don't see where that is your problem. I think we need to be navigating the world a little bit more with this perspective that it's if someone tells you you can't do something, you should be able to say that sounds like a you problem. Like I don't see what this has anything to do with me. So yeah, so like when I think about like issues of the world that have to do with women, I'm always thinking about how it's not the women who have these issues, like it's mostly the other people. And I think women should be questioning why the other people do not want them to do things, and not so much limit themselves because there are no women. It's like a chicken and egg, but it's not really. It has more to do with the other people than you yourself. You as yourself, you go into your own bedroom and you think, am I able to do this? Like, is this something that I want to take on for myself? And then you make that decision there. Not so much based on someone saying you're not able to do this. I mean, there's so much that women are doing in the world that nobody's saying that they're incapable of doing. I mean, imagine things like, I don't know, raising a child or being in the fire and cooking every day. Like nobody is questioning whether or not the fire is too dangerous for you. But like but like suddenly people have opinions about you learning things, and it's always like, why don't you have the same opinions on things that serve you? You should be asking those questions.
Yeah, thank you so much. I felt like you spoke to us from your heart, and And we really appreciate that. We really do appreciate that. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. Okay, so we have just little time. So Miriam, over to you.
All right, thank you, Loretta. Thank you so much, Rhea. Thank you so much, Sarah. That was really, really amazing. I was blown away, and thank you, Ray, for that. For those parting words. Just a This morning, I had seen a tweet by one of the leading thought leaders and founders in Nigeria, Tosin. I think she owns Money Africa also. And I remember she had said in her tweet that a propaganda she's not falling forever is that certain things are out of her reach. And I think that's something very important for women to know. There's honestly nothing out of your reach, especially on the basis of you being a woman, right? I do not think that I'm Christian, and so I believe in the Christian God, but I do not think that when God was creating us, he was creating us with the mindset that, okay, so men would be able to do this and then women would be able to do that. No, I think we're created as in many ways as equal, and I honestly believe that women are creators, not just for our abilities to procreate as for our birthing, but also in our unique God-given way to make things work, you know, bring life into things. And it happens even in tech, right? It happens even in tech. I've read many profiles about many women working in tech, doing in medicine, in healthcare. I just think that whatever field you are in, it's very important to know that there's nothing beyond your reach, and you can potentially change the world. You can potentially change your world just because you want to. Right? Nobody's ever going to question if you want to be what's that TikTok term, a child wife. So I don't think anyone should question you if you want to devote yourself into building things. I have always said that to myself, that if I can be anything that I want to be, then I can be everything that I want to be. I can be a wife and a mom and a leader in AI. I can build tools that help precision medicine. I can be a barista and a bartender at night. I can literally do day and night. I can do whatever, because honestly, life is too short to wonder why, oh, I'm a woman and I can't do this and I can't do that. So yeah, thank you, Ray, for those encouraging words. And thank you to everyone who has stayed with us from start to now. And for those who joined some along the way. There's a question in the chat box that we've not attended to yet. So I think let's attend to that. But I saw that the person left the call, but just for the sake, since there's going to be a replay anyway, and any of you, Ray or Teresa, can handle the question. So the question is, or I think both of you can just send your inputs. The question is, what is the future of one whose creative work is already a thing AI can conveniently do? There was a thing I tried getting done several days pertaining to software development, and after so much trial and error, I used AI. In less than 5 seconds, it got it done, and I felt really left behind. How can one do this? And honestly, I understand this person so much, especially for for people who work in things such as content creation or marketing or writing, especially. Lots of clients say, oh, just use ChatGPT, just use AI, and AI has no soul. I just want to write something that has soul, but the world is not longer demanding for soul things anymore. Just everybody wants it quick and fast. So yeah, I'd like to hear your thoughts. What can we do if AI can already do what we can do?
Okay, I can go fast. So I think this has happened to like almost everyone. You struggle with something for days, and when you input that to AI, it solves it within seconds. But that doesn't mean that you've lost your value. So what I would say to him, or even to us, AI evolves very fast. That is one thing that we know. But what we need to do is just stay curious, not only skilled. So because AI still needs us, even to the end of the world, AI will need our judgment. AI will need us to to confirm that this thing is accurate, that this thing is useful, this thing is ethical. So their value is not lost. Just stay curious, because at the end of the day, it's not like winners are those who know everything. No, winners are people who are able and willing to adapt. So you just adapt with how the AI is and the evolving.
You put it so
Okay,
beautifully,
that's
Timothy.
brilliant. All right, Ray, let's hear your thoughts as well. Thank you.
Yeah, no, I think you put it so brilliantly. It- for me, I always think that AI is like, there was a time when, before the Industrial Revolution, right, people could do so much without technology, and then boom, then there was this tool. And then now that we are like towards, at the beginning of another revolution, there's a new tool. But like, just looking back, people thought, I don't know, maybe farmers thought their jobs would end when the irrigation systems came on play, right? But clearly, farmers' jobs did not, like, we still need farmers. They still need to operate. Now their roles just shifted in a different way. And that's how I see AI too. Like, well, it's here to maybe elevate us to a different position. Maybe your job is no longer to be doing that anymore, but you need to be innovative in a different way. Like, how now that I know that I can use this kind of technology for something like this, what else can I do? So you're right, Teresa, in saying that people need to stay curious, and what you said, Miriam, that people need to also know that nobody can stop them. Like, if there's somewhere you want to go, or you should, this is time to be using these tools and thinking a little bit differently about how to use them in a more impactful way.
Yes, thank you so much for that, you both. I think yes, that's something very crucial for everybody to learn. Like I said in the beginning, one of the sessions we had was concerning, okay, beyond AI, right? How can we learn to be better creators and lean into our innate nature of being able to create tools? I'm sure, okay, that there's the Greek philosophy, no, not Greek philosophy, Greek mythology about how man got fire, right? From, I think, Prometheus also. And it's so interesting how people in the mythology learn how they survived before fire. Fire came, and it's, at first it was scary. It could burn you, it could do this, it could do that. And so people did not want to use it a lot. But then Prometheus had to show them how to use it. And perhaps that's the job of AI trainers or AI educators today, or communities like ours. And before you know it, it was everywhere, and everybody was learning to use fire for cooking and keeping themselves warm and everything. But eventually innovation came, and people began to package fire and learn how to not just use stones to strike and have matchboxes. Some of us use gas cookers where we don't have to use a matchbox anymore. We just click the switch and it comes on. And then electricity came, and everybody felt, oh, electricity. And I just think that we ought to remember that man is superior eventually to AI, and man is superior eventually to robots. And even if robots take over the world in some sort of apocalyptic way, I think man will still survive in some regard. So yeah, if your job is something AI can do, then find a way to do your job in a way that AI cannot do. The writer is always going to be the writer. The way you communicate things, what makes you a writer is not AI, is just the ability to write, to weave words. And the words you weave, you do not weave based on just grammar rules or syntax rules alone. You weave your words based on your lived experience, right? How I'm able to communicate things as a Lagosian living in Lagos, as a young Nigerian woman, is totally going to be different from somebody who is white, for instance, and has lived in it's Nigeria all our life. It's different, right? An American living in Nigeria is different. A Nigerian living in Nigeria, our experiences are different. Our perspectives are different. What makes us are different. And AI should certainly just be a tool that just helps us maybe achieve speed or efficiency, but never really to replace us. And so I don't think we need worry about AI taking our jobs, because if we learn to put AI in its place as simply a tool to improve our workflow, save time, improve efficiency, scale up our excellence delivery, then I think we are good to go, really. But yeah, I hope that answers the question in case anybody had similar questions, right? And thank you again to our speakers. So yeah, I'm supposed to just give a rundown on the current funding opportunity for everybody who has, because I know I've had a few people message me about this. So one of the things we want to achieve here is not just talk. Talk is great, but we want to move beyond talk, and we want to see execution, because one thing Africans know how to do is talk. And we don't really know how to get into the execution part. We know how to host conferences a lot, but we never really know how to provide practical steps into, okay, now, so what are we going to do? And so we're at this point now. So we know you have ideas, and we encourage you to have ideas, and we know, oh God, this airport needs to stay one place. So we know you have ideas, and we encourage you to have ideas, right? But something we know that is a problem, also a systemic problem, is access to funding. There are many ideas. I had shared in a meeting at work, I think 2 weeks ago, that when I was 13, I had a brilliant idea for a cafe that would be in mainland Lagos. And I think I was 12 or 13. I'd written it down in one of my school notebooks. I was in, what class was I in? I think JSS2. I was in high school then, for people who are used to the high school system. So say let's just say I was like a freshman in high school, and I wanted to create this cafe that could serve as a library for people who liked books like me, because I'm such a book lover. And it was also going to serve as a nap room for people who needed to squeeze 20 minutes in, 5 minutes in, 10 minutes in between meetings or work. And so it was also going to serve as a place where people could get food, because I like food a lot. So basically, the cafe was supposed to be an extension of myself, all the things that I liked: books, sleep, and food. And at the time, right, in Lagos, there weren't cafes like that. There were places where you could buy meat pies and donuts and grab coffee. Even at the time, coffee wasn't something that Nigerians really leaned into. And I loved coffee. And although I shouldn't have taken coffee at 13, but I loved it so much. And I really wanted to be a barista. And it was somehow because everybody in my class wanted to be engineers and teachers, and I was thinking, I just want to serve coffee. I just want to make coffee and serve coffee. So I really wanted to create a space where people could enjoy coffee, but enjoy other drinks as well. The Nigerian Zobo drink, that's the hibiscus tea drink, finger foods, all sorts of foods, and sleep. And I thought about it, and I was a great student, actually. Academically, I think I was pretty good in that regard. So I had a whole business plan that I'd written, and I had tutors at the time. I had a tutor, his name, two tutors. One's name was Oscar, the other's name was Cornelius. And I remember they came home this evening, to tutor me, and I was just raving about this brilliant idea. I called it Triple Smiles, right? So it's supposed to be food, sleep, and books, right? So basically 3 things to make you smile. And I had this whole business plan, and I written everything. And so one thing that Cornelius at the time had asked me is, okay, so which money will you use for this? And it was so funny, but looking back, right, it was a very funny question. But at the time I was so infuriated. He said, it's a great plan now, but do you have the money? So we are still like 12. How old are you? How are you going to fund this? First of all, you need a place to do it. And I was like, okay, so instead of renting a shop or building a shop, you could maybe use tents and just set up a tent where these things could happen. Then you could section it. We really dealt with the idea. We had a solid plan, but there was no money. There really wasn't money. And at the time, I could not exactly say, oh, I'm looking for $1 million to start a cafe. What is a cafe? Lagosians prefer amala. What do you mean cafe for coffee? Coffee? Who drinks coffee in Lagos? Where we have Coke. But the interesting thing is, it's been about 14-ish years later, and cafes are everywhere now. People like coffee. We take photos of it. There are reading rooms. I know that there's one not so far from me where you could have a book date, where you could have puff puff and it's a finger food here as well, and just drink zobo and read as well. But the thing is, if I had money then and I had started that thing then, I would have been a young entrepreneur, even if we had hired maybe a management specialist or something, and I would have been a pioneer in the industry. And decades later, it would have been something that would have been profitable as well. Perhaps I would have owned a franchise by now, who knows? But I would have been one of the starters, and that's great, really. And so it just got me thinking about how many of us are sitting on ideas or unable to push ideas that are absolutely brilliant because we do not have money for it. And that's something we want to potentially solve with this community. We want you to build on your ideas, your AI, your blockchain ideas. They are great. We know they are. I've dialogued with some people here already, and I know that they are great. And we want to hold your hand in regarding getting funding. And one of the opportunities that currently exists for us right now is the DeepFunding program. So DeepFunding is a decentralized grants program that is tasked to fund your projects and initiatives that are beneficial to Singularity Net. And at Singularity Net, their mission is to create a democratic, decentralized, beneficial AGI. Their values are centered around openness, creativity, collaboration, kindness, and these values just reflect on how they operate and intend to achieve their mission. DeepFunding is a community-run program. There you could propose ideas, you could vote on people's ideas, you could review people's ideas, you could discuss, and you could join their circles. There are a couple of circles at DeepFunding that you could join: the event circle, the development outreach circle for people who actually build and seek people who are currently building as well. There is the marketing circle, people who handle social media and all things marketing. There are a bunch of circles. You could, their circles are available on their community website. I think I'll drop that in the chat box. And DeepFunding has a collaborative run program, right? So every 2 weeks there's a town hall. Every 2 weeks there's an open all hands event as well. So there are things called RFP ideations, right, where people could create RFPs and be paid a token for creating the RFPs, and then people come up with ideas that fit into the RFPs and then propose those ideas and get funding for it. That's basically one angle for it. But basically, I just came to tell you about DeepFunding. So DeepFunding is a program that is currently sponsoring this hub, and they are eager to hear your proposals. In fact, we have insider information. We have to one thing that they're looking out for is how many quality proposals you're able to give to them. So there's money, and all we need is the ideas. So if you have an idea, if you have something you're building in AI or blockchain, if you have something you think is great, but all you have is the idea and you need a team for it, please reach out to us on our channels, any of the channels. Just say, hi guys, I have something I want to build. And then, either Grace, community manager, Loretta, the person who said today, who is our digital marketing manager, or me, who is the lead, just, one of us would respond to you. So eventually we are going to create, I think next week, we're going to create subgroup chats specifically for proposal writing. So our next sessions, we are having a Women in AI Networking webinar where you get to interact with everybody currently working in AI. This is especially good for people who do not work in AI currently or use AI at all, who are just curious about AI. And there's a round 5, I think, that's coming up in DeepFunding. And I do not know exactly how much would be out for funding, but the last one was about, I think, $80,000 or $50,000. But there's a next round, yes, it's $50,000. So the next one, I do not know how much they are willing to give out yet, or the criteria for it, or what we want to do is to get ready all the same. So we are going to be training ourselves on how to write quality proposals. We are going to have group chats where if you have an idea, you bring the idea, and if you need a team, we help you structure the team. We basically just hold your hand for the entire process. And so when the round 5 goes live, we help you with the application process. You then, submit your proposals, and then, you build away. It's really, it's nothing more than that. So yes, first things, we're going to learn how to write proposals. We're going to learn how to write proposals, especially in the deep funding way. We are going to help people who do not currently have teams set up their teams, give them a bit of structure. For people who want to be part of projects as well, they're not the idea people, but they are the people who get things done of sorts, or there are the people who know people that can help get things done. We'll just set up teams like that, so just watch out for that. But that's basically it. I do hope that this is something we leverage on and we do not dollar ourselves concerning. So yeah, if you have an idea that's cooking up, please cook away and let us know about it so that we can start help we can already get you ready. The round 5 should go live in a month or two, so we do not have so much time and we want to stay ready. The more the merrier, and the quicker we do this, the better. So while there are other funding opportunities available, we are going to be preparing for all of them as well. But just for the sake of today's session, deep funding is something we wanted to cover for everybody. So yes, I hope that this is something we are able to do as well. So yeah, that's basically it, and we have come to the end of today's session, and we are 1 minute shy of the stop time. So yes, thank you, Ray, thank you, Teresia, thank you, Loretta, thank you to everyone who joined, who told somebody about us. Please, if you are not a part of our channels, it's on the group chat, it's on the chat box already. There's the link to our Discord, our Telegram, our WhatsApp community. You can join there. If you want to catch up on our past events, like the last events we had, the link to the YouTube channel is there as well, and the links to our social media platforms. There's X, there's LinkedIn, and then there's Instagram. I think we might get into TikTok as well, since let's do some Gen Z things and get into TikTok as well. And yes, one very important thing. So AIBIA as our organization, right? I had mentioned AIBIA is the organization that has created this hub as one of our initiatives in bridging the gap of innovation in Africa, helping Africans create tools for Africans. And we have been having monthly virtual events since we launched in November. And our next event for AIBIA, this is not for the Women's Hub now, but everybody's welcome because that one is not gender centric. So our next event is on the 31st, and we have two amazing people. We have Henry from Rwanda, who is currently living in the US, who is he's a builder, he's a critic, he's more into building data sets and the rest of it. He helps people scale their solutions in AI fields. And when we have David Rotimi, who is from Nigeria, living in Lagos. Is he living in Lagos? He's living in Ilorin, I think, the Kwara State. And he is a thought leader as well on AI on LinkedIn, and he has been using AI a lot in product design. And honestly, these two men are amazing. You need to listen to them. So come Saturday, 12 p.m., same platform, we are going to be having these two men speak to us about decentralized intelligence in AI. So it's a topic for everybody. So if you can, please join us. But then we want to also have physical events, and our first physical event is going to hold in Kenya. Yes, no more Nigerians. Zip, I've enjoyed a lot. So we are coming to Kenya. We are coming to Kenya, and for that we need help. So if you currently live in Kenya and are able to help us with logistics, helping us find a venue, because I've never been, actually. I've not left Nigeria before. If you are able to help us with finding a venue, in sourcing for speakers, and helping us figure out logistics as hotels and everything, because us coming from Nigeria, we have to fly there as well. We are getting ready. Please just fill the volunteer form. We have a theme in mind. We have things in mind as well, but we want to do this together, and we need you that live in Kenya, preferably Nairobi. I think it's best to come to the capital. That's probably help us with the logistics and everything. So yes, if you currently live in Kenya and you're willing to volunteer, please fill the form in the chat box. Lend us your hand. And I trust that we'll have an amazing first physical event. You get to see my face in full. Who knows? I might wear more than jeans and polo this time. So yes, you get to see the pretty ones from Nigeria having a blast in Nairobi. I heard that Kenya is a beautiful place. I spoke to someone in one of the visa offices, and she was like, "Yes, go to Kenya. Choose Kenya first. It's my favorite city in the world." I said, "Okay, oh, we are coming, Kenya. We are coming. So please fill the form and let's do this. The event is supposed to host sometime in the summer. So the earlier we are able to set up a team, the earlier we can have these events together. So yeah, and that brings us to the end of our session. I hope it was an insightful time for you. I say this in every session. It does not matter what you've heard. What matters is what you've done with what you've heard, right? So nobody's going to ask you, what did you hear? Everybody's going to ask you, okay, what did you do with what you've learned? So yeah, thank you guys and have a lovely, lovely weekend. Everyone say thank you to the speakers and goodbye.
Thank you for the invite. Have a good weekend.
Thank you. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye.